less than a year. Less than a year. Our host is less than a year. What's going on? Can you just raise your hand? Just I want to see that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So everyone else have been around for more than a year. Have basic understanding of philosophy. All right. So it's a very beautiful letter written by Srila Prabhupada to his disciple Atriya Rishi, 4th Feb 1972. Maybe I'll begin in this way. When we come in the beginning, Prabhu was showing the triangle. We like to come, and then I'm Hare Krishna, etc. When we come in the beginning, we have a perspective of looking at the devotees. All of us would remember when we came in those initial days, everything looked so mesmerizing. Every devotee walking here looked like a pure devotee descended directly from Goloka Vrindavan. Isn't it? But however, when we move around for a while, that looks like, Arey, he's next door. This guy is my next door neighbor only. What am I is not much different. Only thing maybe number of years could be different. Something like that happens. And suddenly that appreciation gradually turns into a little bit of fault finding. And then at one point in time, person begins to wonder, I came to this Krishna conscious society, spiritual life, thinking everything gonna be perfect. Material world is full of imperfections, everything should be perfect. Relationships were terrible there, relationships should be lovely here. People had problems there, people should not have any problems here. What's going on? The world out is full of conflicts. Here there should not be any conflicts, but looks like I see people having conflicts here, difference of opinion, blah blah blah, and so many things. And I'm just trying to bring out this letter to our level of discussion. And now we read the letter. What Prabhupada likes you. So we can have different devotees quickly start reading this. Please go ahead, anyone volunteer. We have the mic. You have the mic, want to start reading? Switch it on. Please start reading.
Okay. It is not so much that because there may be some faults in our God brothers and God sisters, or because there may be some mismanagement or lack of cooperation, that this is due to being impersonalist. No.
Oh, there is a fall because of this reason, that reason. Prabhupada says, well, wait a second. Let me explain this whole psychology of faults. Why their fault exists. Please pass on the mic to somebody else. Please read.
It is the nature of the living condition to always have some fault.
So, very interesting thing. Those of you, if in case you are familiar with Ayurveda, the ancient medical science, in Ayurveda, our body is identified in 3 ways. Anyone knows? What are the 3 ways? Yes?
Vat, Pitta,
Kapha, Pitta, and Vata. But that's not the complete answer. It is Kapha dosha, Pitta dosha, Vata dosha. You forgot the most important thing. So according to ancient medical science Ayurveda, this body is made up of dosha. So if you are functioning within the platform which is full of faults, how will you not have faults? This is impractical. Doesn't make sense. Therefore, Prabhupada is going to talk about this whole utopian idea. It doesn't exist. We are functioning in faults. That's physiological faults. Then what about psychology? Our psychology, which means our mind, as all time is influenced and affected by word of goodness, passion, ignorance. There's no time in this creation when it is not influenced by it. And if it is influenced consistently, constantly by these 3, goodness, passion, ignorance, there are always chances of some faults there also. So physiologically, psychologically, faults exist. So it is the nature of the living condition to always have some faults. Okay, let's go ahead. Please continue. Whoever was reading. Yeah, please go ahead. Keep the mic on so it'll be quick. Yeah.
Even in the spiritual world, there is some fault and envy. Sometimes the gopis will quarrel over Krishna's favor, and once Krishna was so much attracted to Radharani that by mistake he tried to milk the bull instead of the cow.
Oh, that's very interesting. The false doesn't exist only in this world, the false exists even in the spiritual world. But there is a huge difference between the false that exists there and here. And that is what Prabhu is going to talk about. And if we understand that, then our perspective to this whole fault will change. Alright, continue. Yeah.
Sometimes when the
So now fault have been discussed, now envy will be discussed. Envy there in the spiritual world also. But what is that envy? Please read it.
Sometimes when the gopis used to dress and put on makeup to see Krishna, they would be too hasty and smear kumkum and mascara in the wrong places. Their ornaments and dresses would appear as if small children were trying to dress themselves.
Okay, this is again about the faults, that how they would dress themselves improperly, so fault. But it's not the same as material fault, this is an important line. But it is not the same as material fault or material envy. It is transcendental. I want you to pay attention because it is all based on Krishna. If everything in terms of our relationship, our life is centered on Krishna, Prabhupada is saying it is not, then material. That's the point here. And that's the difference between the faults that you see within the devotee community and outside. If that is centered on Krishna, Prabhupada said that's not material fault. Okay, move forward. So sometimes when one gopi would serve Krishna very nicely, the other would say, this is what envy. Oh, she has done so nicely, now let me do better to please Krishna. Prabhupada says, this is envy. But it is transcendental without malice. Why? Because it is again centered around Krishna. I want this point to be memorized because I'm going to show you something in a short while. Okay, next, please go ahead, read it.
That is envy, but this is transcendental without malice. So we shall not expect that anywhere there is an utopia, rather that is impersonalism.
To expect there gonna be no faults, etc., that Prabhupada is saying that is impersonalism. Why impersonalism? You're destroying. You remember, I believe Shyamlal who had asked the question, about having issues with each other. Then I said, it's but natural because we are person. And that's where the maturity lies in understanding the differences within each other and the diversity. And not to, just have a copy paste of our identity in the. So Prabhupada said to not have, it's impersonalism. To deny the person the right to have difference of opinion, to think differently, that's impersonalism. That's the point here. Alright. Next.
People should not expect that even in the Krishna consciousness society there will be utopia. Because devotees are personas or persons, therefore there will always be some lacking. But the difference is,
Very important.
the lacking has become transcendental because they have given up everything to serve Krishna. Money, jobs, reputation, wealth, big educations, everything.
But that has become transcendental. And this is where we're going to talk about how important, how valuable devotees are. That's what the point was, devotee care. Who are we talking about taking care? Devotees. We need to first of all value them. Then only we can really exercise care. Alright. Gopal says further.
Despite whatever faults they may have, their topmost intention is to serve Krishna.
Important line. Please read.
One who is engaged in devotional service, despite the most abominable action, is to be considered saintly because he is rightly situated.
Prabhupada is quoting the Bhagavad Gita 9th chapter about Rabi Suduracharo, if he's properly practicing. So here, so when I was reading it somewhere, another place, so one person said, one devotee said, yes, but this is for pure devotees. This all holds true for pure devotees. I said, wait a second. Letter has not got over. Let's see what Prabhupada says. Prabhupada says pure devotees or the devotees? And let's see what Prabhupada says next. Prabhupada says, the devotees of Krishna are the most exalted persons on this planet. Better than the kings. Better than King Charles. Or whatever the king of Germany had been. So we should always remember that. They're better than the kings. Prabhupada is emphasizing how important, how valuable devotees are. Like the bumblebee, we should always look for the nectar, the best qualities of a person. Not like the utopians who are like the flies, always going to the open source, always looking for faults. Because they cannot find any utopia or anyone without fault, they want to become void, merge, become nothing. Impersonalists, thinking that is utopia, to become void of personality. This is more or less of a part of discussion here. Prabhupada just thanks the devotee. So he's saying if there is sometimes slight disagreement between devotees, it is not due to impersonalism, but because they are persons. And this is what I was replying to Shyamla Prabhu's question yesterday. First thing, we need to learn to appreciate each other as an individual. And therefore I was quoting Yatha Ichchasi Tatha Karo. Despite Krishna speaking Bhagavad Gita before the war, and Arjuna accepting Krishna to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead, yet for the next 18 days, Krishna was not the decision maker. Therefore, we should learn to give respect to others' opinions, others' right to choose, and also others' right to disagree with your opinion. That's where the care begins with, understanding who we are. Everything else, otherwise, Prabhupada says, somebody is trying to avoid this, that's impersonalistic tendencies. So let's begin with ourselves, bringing this change in our paradigm when we're dealing with others. And this is a beautiful line. Why devotees are so special? The devotee is always pessimistic about the material world. He knows the material world is hopeless, but very optimistic about spiritual life. So in this way, you should consider that. Anyone engaged in Krishna service is always the best person. We should, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, please hang it around your neck. This is the second mantra we want to hang it around our neck. Anyone engaged in Krishna service is always the best person. And Prabhupada is now acknowledging Atri Rishi Prabhu here, like this, to be the servants of the servant. And by a quiet, humble attitude, you should set the example of a Vaishnava, so that all may learn from you. Very soon, their purified, puffed up attitude will disappear, and they'll come to you, seek your advice in matter. So that's as an introduction. Sorry, I'm rushing up because of time. So today's discussion will be centered around this particular verse. Before I go to the verse, because I'll be rushing up through the discussion, very important point, what we discussed so far. There were many, but main point was, there could be some faults, but all of that become transcendental if it is centered around Krishna. Alright? That's the point from where we want to take forward to this. Gunadikan mudam lipsat, everyone.
Gunadikan mudam lipsat.
Anukrusham gunadamad.
Anukrusham gunadamad.
Maitram samanam anvichan.
Maitram samanam anvichan.
Natape abhibhuyate.
Natape abhibhuyate.
So Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, 8th chapter, verse number 34, Narada is speaking this verse. He's saying three things in this verse. Gunadikan, somebody is having a better qualities, greater in qualities than you. Gunadikan, mudam lipsat. Greet them with a smile. Become happy seeing them. When you meet your seniors, be happy. Oh, I'm so happy that, fortunate I have the association of somebody better than I. Anukrosham gunadamad. Gunadamad, adha, which means somebody is inferior in qualities. Anukrosham, be kind to him. Be helpful for him. And Maitrim Samanam Anvichan, somebody is in same to you in qualities. Maitrim, be friendly to him. And what will happen? Natape abhibhuyate, you will not experience the onslaughts, material onslaughts, because you will be happy in these three. These are the three ways to function here. So to help you understand this concept, I will be introducing a model, and that is called as triangle of fulfillment. Those of you have pen and paper, you can draw a triangle. And for this, I'll send this PPT to Shyamlal Prabhu, and he can share with the rest of you for later on your consideration. So three things, therefore we are drawing a triangle. We can call it as triangle of life, or you can call it triangle of fulfillment, or triangle of needs. Before I explain that, let me ask a few questions, and let's see if you resonate with these needs. If you agree, please raise your hand. How many of you have ever felt the need, wish I had some senior from whom I can take guidance? Please raise your hand. How many of you? 100%? Thank you. How many of you ever felt the need, wish I had a friend who I can call up or knock on the door at any point of time of the day, and he'll be there to hear me, and I can express without any fear? Please raise your hand. Please raise your hand high up. Alright, so far 100%. The third need. And if you agree with that, this time you raise both your hands. Okay, which will summarize that we agree with all the three needs. How many of us have given unsolicited advice to others? How many of us have given advice to others when not even asked? So do we agree these three needs are universal? So we're going to talk about taking care of these needs. You know, you can care for others when you're taking care of yourself. So we need to take care of these needs for ourselves. We take care of these needs, when we are full, then we can share with others. That's the point of discussion here, Vaishnava relationships. So these three needs, those of you who have drawn a triangle, so you can put on the three edges of your triangle, you can write senior, equal and junior. On the three ends of your triangle, you can write senior, equal and junior. Okay? Next to senior, how are we supposed to relate? We look for shelter from them. Okay? Which also I would like to call it. I have put two terminologies here. One is for the devotee community, which are familiar, and second terminology are for public. You know, they resonate with that. For devotee community, shelter, and for another terminology I'm using is self-development. Under the seniors' guidance, we develop, we learn. That's the thing. How do we deal with equal? What kind of exchange we have is self-expression. With equals, we can express ourselves fully. Guhyam akhyati prachati. We can have heart-to-heart exchanges. Or loving relationships. Okay? That's with equals. How about juniors? Is self-worth or social contribution. What is self-worth? When you help others, okay, how many of you here have distributed Prabhupada books? Please raise your hand. How many of you have here distributed Prabhupada books? Quite few of you. So my question is directed to you. How did you feel when a copy of Bhagavad Gita or any Prabhupada book went out of your hand and somebody happily took that book? How did you feel? How many of you felt a great joy? You felt like, wow, I have accomplished something. I'm worth living for something. I am worthy of something. Yes or no? Yes. You get that? It's just about giving a book. Imagine now you are guiding that person. You're not giving unsolicited but solicited advice. You're helping him transform. Imagine you have been taking care of somebody and now he has become a full-fledged devotee. Chanting 16 rounds Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And now probably imagine he has got initiated. Isn't that a sense of self-worth? You're like, I've done some service. I've done, that's a need. If you don't fulfill the need over there, you're going to go around, walk around giving unsolicited advices. I'm serious about it. Evam parampara praptam. Why Prabhupada emphasize? Yeah. Why Prabhupada emphasize preaching? We got to do this. Again, I was saying, I don't know, today or yesterday, I was saying, please do not ignore the human side of our existence. When we're trying to become a devotee, please don't ignore we are human beings. We have certain emotions. Don't try to just brush it aside thinking this and that. It doesn't work like this. Therefore, Narad Muni is speaking of three universal needs. If you ain't going to have somebody who accepts you as a senior, because somebody accepts you as a senior, now your advice will be worthy. If you don't have anyone like that who is willing to listen to you, what are you going to do? You're just going to walk around, keep giving advices to everyone. Because you have a need. Somewhere I have to express myself. So like that, these are the three things which is now we're talking about. So preaching is our need. It's not mission's need. Preaching is my need. Sharing Krishna consciousness. And then what happens with that? We become extremely dear to Krishna. Krishna says, who is the most dear person to me? Manusya is the... Can you imagine what a perfect thing? You fulfill your need and Krishna is gratified. What a perfect combination, huh? You're not fulfilling Krishna's need, you're fulfilling your need and Krishna is gratified as long as you fulfill according to what Krishna says. Don't give unsolicited advice, give solicited advice. Preach, help others transform their life. Okay, these are the three things. Fine enough? So this is how it looks like, the triangle of fulfillment. But it will work perfectly if Krishna is in the center of it. This will only function well if Krishna is in the center. Otherwise, it will not work. What it will be, I'll show you in a short while how this triangle would take another shape. If we replace Krishna and take Krishna away out of this. So these are three things, with senior, with equals, and with juniors. All right. So at the given time, I'll focus on one or 2 points, whatever we can discuss today. Need for self-worth. Importance of social contribution. Let's take a look at what Srila Prabhupada, what our acharyas have spoken on this particular aspect about it. So, this is from lecture by Srila Prabhupada on Srimad Bhagavatam 7th Canto 9th chapter verse number 4, given in Mayapur 11th February 1976. So, anyone would like to read what Prabhupada is saying here?
When you become advanced Krishna consciousness, then your natural tendency will be how to preach. So long you do not develop this tendency for preaching, simply remain in Kanishta Adhikari. You do not know how to deliver others. Na tat bhakteshu channeshu. You do not know how to receive one elevated devotee. You do not know how to do good to others.
What Prabhupada is saying here? What's your understanding? What Prabhupada is trying to say here? Anyone? Yes, Chaitanya. Please pass the mic to you. Yeah. I mean, there's nobody online, right? So we don't need to move around the mic, right? Yeah. Yes, Chaitanya.
Like to be paradukha dukhi, to be empathetic to
Okay.
others and preach. Like,
What else? Thank you for that. There's a more important thing here, which is correct. What else is highlighted in this particular message? Anecdote from Prabhupada's lecture. Who is speaking? Yeah, go ahead.
If you feel the need, if you feel the tendency to preach, then understand that you are advancing. Otherwise,
Okay. Go a step further. You're getting closer. You can just read what Prabhupada is saying here.
If we do not preach, then we are Kanishta Adhikari.
Yeah, if we don't share, we remain Kanishta Adhikari. We don't grow, Prabhupada is saying. So Prabhupada is saying, if you're growing in Krishna consciousness, there would be a natural urge to share with others. Like that. I'm just quoting here Lord Shri Krishna. We have already quoted about this verse. How Krishna says, those who share the message about me is most dear to me. This is something from Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur from his Amritavani. Somebody else please read out. Now this is a very beautiful statement, I love it. What Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is saying here. Please read it.
One who gives personal instruction to each and everyone does more for others than the platform speakers do. Generally, whatever platform speakers say cannot solve the problem of everyone in the audience, nor can it always benefit every individual. A person's defects are better rectified in a private tutorial class or private coaching than in hearing lectures in a school or college. Therefore, those who instruct particular persons separately can award them something more permanent.
What is Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur saying here? What's this message is about? Anyone?
personal care is
Personal care is important. Thank you.
Personal coaching, private.
Personal coaching. Okay, what else? He's saying what your lecture will do. He's not saying you should not give lecture. But I often say this when I'm training teachers or preachers to share Krishna consciousness. I always say that the actual class begins after your lecture ends. Don't make a mistake to think you have given a lecture, you have done your job. No, your job begins after the lecture. When you're now willing to sit down and have one-on-one interaction with your audience. Unless you have one-on-one interaction, unless you're willing to listen to them, help them, tailor-made instruction for their need, that's what Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, nothing would happen. So, this is what, one-to-one, taking care of people. That's what Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is emphasizing here. There's another very important quote from Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and he says, I wish that every selfless, tender-hearted person of the Gaudiya Math will be prepared to shed 200 gallons of blood for the nourishment of the spiritual corpus of every individual of this world. 200 gallons. Damodar was sharing interesting statistics. He checked with the doctor. How long and how much time does it take to really a healthy human being to, contribute 200 gallons of blood? The doctor replied, if a healthy human being would have to donate the maximum amount of blood once in a week, it will take him 100 years to contribute 200 gallons. That's what the purpose of life. taking care, sharing. That's what it is. So talking about need for self-worth, this is where our need is fulfilled, and plus directly we're pleasing the Lord, and we can prevent ourselves from giving unsolicited advice. We can offer guidance, share. That's the whole point about it. Need for self-worth or importance of social contribution. That's a good form of nectar of instruction, Guhyamakyati Prachati, which means experienced devotee explains and inexperienced devotee learns. So that's another Shastri Praman. Fine. Okay. So that was about need for self-worth or importance of social contribution. Are we all clear on that? I gave the Shastri Praman, I quoted Prabhupada, I quoted Bhakti Siddhanta Sarita Thakur, and we clarified our need also. We have the need. Yes, Shambhala Prabhu.
Prabhu, I just want to mention, like, you are looking at the watch, so maybe we can go 10 or 15 minutes beyond the time, Prabhu.
Sure.
You will be happy to learn more, Prabhu.
Yes.
But I do want to give it time for question answer also. We'll see how it goes about it. Fine. Okay, yeah. Okay, any questions so far? Okay. So that was about importance of social contribution. Remember the triangle? So now we're going to talk about our relationship with senior, how to receive shelter. So I have a question for all of you. If you have to give guidance to somebody, if you have to take care of somebody, what qualities would you look in that person? That will, you'll be like happy to give him guidance.
He should follow those.
Humility.
Can you raise your hand so I understand?
He should.
It doesn't sound like Akashwani to me. That will help me to connect. Yes,
But
Prabhu.
the person whom you are giving the instructions, he should follow it sincerely. You would love to
Follow it sincerely.
We try to.
Sarva dharman parityaja mamekam sharanam vraja. You're following the parampara, right, under Krishna? Police surrender, whatever I say, you should follow. Well, that's quite a high demand. Okay, thank you for that. Yes, Madan.
Eagerness.
Eagerness to learn. Okay, thank you. Yes.
How much and what is the need, requirement, and quench to gain the
Eagerness.
Eagerness.
You just gave the purport to it. Thank you for explaining that. Yes.
Implementation.
Implementation. Willingness to follow, apply it. Okay, thank you. Eagerness, implementation, full surrender, half surrender. Alright, I'm just joking.
Humility.
Humility, absolutely, humility. Thank you for that. What else? Any other thoughts? That person should have that. Then you are happy to really guide him.
Humble nature.
Humility, humble nature. Thank you for that. Anything else?
He asks.
Huh?
He asks for help.
He asked for, oh yeah, that's a very important thing. He asked for help. He has to ask for help. Only then he can help. Isn't it? Look at when did Krishna begin to instruct Arjuna? Kalpanya dosho pahata sabhava prachami tvam dharma samudha cheta yashrehasya nishchitam brohitan me shishyastiham sadimam tvam prapannam. I surrender unto you, my dear Lord. And the very next verse, Krishna had a smirk or smile on his face. Vishnu Thakur writes. Why was he smiling? Not smiling, he's smiling, but has a smirk on his face. Why? Hindi में कहावत है. There's a statement in Hindi. It says, "Ab aaya oot pahad ke niche." I mean, I don't know how to put it in English, so we can let this kahavat go. Which means, abhi tak this person was speaking so much. Now finally he's realized he doesn't know anything. So now he's willing to listen. So yeah, he's willing to ask. Thank you for that. So fantastic. What all you have said is totally correct. And which means all of this thing we have to exhibit in our relationship with senior. Then only we can receive shelter. We cannot complain that nobody is giving me guidance. I'm here in the community, but why do I feel there's nobody to take care of me? Because you all give the answer. What is required to receive shelter? So what we're looking at is what we need to reflect in our relationship with a senior like that. So, principles of surrender. Ge yathama prabhadante tam tataiva bhajami. Beautiful Yeah, let's take a look at this. This is Srila Prabhupada's offering to his spiritual master in 1962. Shall request. What are we going to do? Okay, let's take a look. Let's please somebody read out. If you have a mic, that's good. We have a mic here.
Even
Please pay attention. I'm going to ask a question. What do you see? What Prabhupada is trying to emphasize here? Yes.
even now, my god brothers, you return here on the order of our masters, and together we engage in this puja. But simply a festival of flowers and fruit does not constitute worship. The one who serves the message of the Guru really worships him.
Continue.
Oh, shame. My dear brothers, aren't you embarrassed? In the manner of businessmen, you increase your disciples. Our master said to preach, let the neophyte remain inside the temple and simply ring the bells.
Okay, continue. Andrew, is my mobile there? Happy to see that. Okay, continue. Yeah.
But just take a good look at the terrible situation that has arisen. Everyone has become a sense enjoyer and has given up preaching. From the seas across the earth, penetrate the universal shell, come together and preach this Krishna consciousness. Then our master's service will be in proper order. Make your promise today. Give up all your politics and diplomacy.
So anyone would like to reflect what's going on here? What Prabhupada is kind of expressing here?
The qualities.
Yeah, go ahead, speak up.
The qualities that a person needs to like accept someone.
Qualities, okay. What else? Prabhu behind, we can pass on the mic. It's audible.
Elements the state in which the community of his god brothers is now, or was back then, that after the departure of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, that they've given up preaching and that they've just stayed in the temples and not gone out to spread Krishna consciousness.
Correct. But why have they given up on that and why are they not going out? It's an important thing Prabhupada is mentioning there. Please read the last paragraph again. The last paragraph over here.
But just take a look at the terrible situation that has arisen. Everyone has become a sense enjoyer and has given up preaching. From the seas across the earth, penetrate the universal shell, come together and preach this Krishna consciousness. Then our master's service will be in proper order. Make your promise today. Give up all your politics and diplomacy.
So why have they given up?
Politics, diplomacy, sense enjoyment.
Yeah. Prabhupada is saying they all have become a sense enjoyer. That's the basic thing because of which everything had eventually fallen apart. So there is a very interesting thing Prabhupada, Lord Shri Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita about this particular thing in terms of, relationships. And he says as follows. Please repeat. Yoga yukto vishuddhatma.
Yoga yukto vishuddhatma.
Vijitatma jitendriya.
Vijitatma jitendriya.
Sarvabhutatma bhutahatma.
Sarvabhutatma bhutatma.
Kurvan api na lipyate.
Kurvan api na lipyate.
So here Krishna says you become dear to everyone and everyone is dear to you. If there is two things. Yoga yukto vishuddhatma. You are engaged in devotional service to the Lord. And second thing very important, Vijit Atma Jitendriya. You learn to control your senses. Sense control. And this is a basic thing which leads to problems in everything. Can you think of any example in direct relationship with the Lord? Somebody was serving the Lord directly, but because he could not control his senses, he even could not follow through his promise which he gave to the Lord. His service got obstructed. He left the service literally because he could not control his senses. In relation, directly he was serving the Lord directly.
Chitraketu Maharaj.
Chitraketu Maharaj. How?
He was serving Lord Sankarshan, but he could not control his speech and he said something.
Okay, I'm not sure of the last name.
Bro, I forgot the name of who was the charioteer and who was fanning the Lord and and his eyes were filled of water, so he couldn't basically see the Lord or fan him properly.
I mean, that's not sense clarification. What else? What else? Yes?
But he was not directly.
I'm saying directly serving the Lord. He was a servant of the Lord, literally to that extent. Yes?
We can give example of Ravan and Vali.
Ravan and Vali. Okay, fine. So, because Ravan has been brought in, I'll give a quick example. You can quote an example from Chaitanya Charitamrita, I'll quote an example from Ramayana. Let's take a look at this word. What's happening over here? Ram and Sugriv is having an agreement. And the agreement was, Ram is going to help Sugriv, Sugriv is going to help. And you know, long story short, when the 4 months of rainy season came, Lord Ram said, Sugriv, hold on. Don't do that. Don't go for a search. And after 4 months, Sugriv never came back. And eventually Lakshman got very angry. And what happened? Because Sugriv forgot the promise that he gave to Lord Ram. Because he was busy enjoying the kingly pleasures. So Krishna says, those who are engaged and those who learn to control their senses, everyone is dear to them and they are dear to everyone. Like that. So that's a very basic thing that we need to. Coming to the last part here, what could be, there could be many challenges, but what could be one fundamental challenge in our relationship with senior, equal and junior? Challenges. What could be the challenges in having, that meaningful relationship? We take proper guidance, we express our heart, and we give guidance to those who are younger. What is the challenge in this relationship? Trust. Hesitation.
How do we keep them going?
How do we keep them going? What else? Huh?
Ego.
Implementation.
Ego.
Ego. What else? What else?
Judgmental.
Judgmentalism. What else? Okay, so let's do one thing. Can we have a very quick skit and role play here? Okay? You don't have to do anything, you just have to read the dialogue. Shyamlal Prabhu has sent you the skit, so you are one of the characters. Come up on the stage. And can I have one of the lady Vaishnavi who would like to, please mother, come forward. So Shyamlal Prabhu, if you have her number, can you forward the Gopi Dasi script to her? Right away. So both of you come here. In the meantime, I'll tell you what the role play is about. So today is Sunday morning. And we had a fantastic Srimad Bhagavatam class by Yudhishthira Das. He is a very senior devotee in the community, and after the lecture, everyone applauded. Not like that scholarly lecture which I was making example yesterday. People really appreciated the lecture and they were really happy. And we have 2 members from that community discussing about the lecture. So Gopi Dasi, you got the script? Sorry, I don't know. I just said Gopi Dasi role play. And Duryodhan Das? Yes. So Duryodhan Das over here, Gopi Dasi here. I want all of you to observe their observation. And with that, we'll summarize our discussion. I'll not go into further states. So, Gopi Dasi begins the conversation. So, what's going to happen between both of you is, you say a dialogue, he says a dialogue. One by one, you have to go through. Alright? So, this is our Duryodhan Das. Or let's call Bhakta Duryodhan. Because I don't think so, Duryodhan Das would be there. I know Bhakta Duryodhan we can call. And here we have Mother Gopi Dasi. Okay? Alright, they're discussing about how was the lecture given by a senior in the community. Please go ahead.
I thought Yudhishthira...
Oh, should we have a mic? That'll be better. It'll make it more stronger. Please pass on the mic. Pass on the mic to both of them.
I thought Yudhishthira Prabhu's class was wonderful. He explained everything so clearly and made the teachings very relatable.
Oh yeah, it was okay, but I felt he could have quoted more verses. It wasn't very sarcastic, if you ask me.
I understand your point, Duryodhana, but I feel that focusing on the positives can help us appreciate the effort and intention behind the class.
Well, it is just that everyone is praising him so much, but I think we should also recognize that it was not perfect. There are many others who can give more sarcastic classes.
Sarcastic?
No, sorry, sarcastic classes.
Dude, you destroyed my role play. You literally boomerang my role play the whole class. I said, when did you do get sarcastic class? Shastri, man. Okay, come back to the scene. Shastri class. Okay, say your dialogue again. Repeat your dialogue.
Well, it's just that everyone is praising him so much. But I think we should also recognize that it was not perfect. There are many others who can give more Shastri classes like Chetan Prabhu.
Oh, come on.
Everyone has their own style, and I think Yudhishthira Prabhu did a great job making it accessible.
Actually, I know something about Yudhishthira Prabhu which you may not know. He isn't as advanced as anyone thinks. I just don't understand why he gets so much of attention.
Really? I don't know that. But maybe it's better to focus on the good qualities and the efforts he's putting in.
Yeah, I am just saying we should have a balanced view. It is not right to glory someone too much without seeing their flaws.
I see what you mean, but I think we all have room to grow and improve. Maybe we can find a way to support each other without focusing too much on the negatives.
Maybe, but it just feels unfair sometimes.
Let's try to appreciate everyone's contributions and see how we can all help each other improve. Hare Krishna.
Haribo! Big round of applause for Gopal. Okay, quick reflection. What was going on? What do you see over here? Let's talk about Duryodhan Das. What was happening with Duryodhan towards Yudhishthira?
Envy, jealousy.
How many were angry? There was envy. And what was envy doing?
Like putting down.
Trying to pull him down. And when that was reflection, what was Gopidasi doing all through?
Not trying to balance.
She was trying to balance. She was trying to harmonize. She was trying to say, please understand, that's not such a big problem. Let's live together happily. So, here Duryodhan Das was exhibiting what? Envy towards a senior. And because of which he was not able to appreciate. So my question is, imagine if this envy that individual is having towards a senior, if this is allowed to continue, what will happen to the community? Huh?
The community will get contaminated.
Just like Duryodhan was speaking to her, he may continue to speak to others. And what will happen?
Trust will break.
Trust will break, harmony will break. How many of you agree? There could be partition.
Negative energy will create.
Negative energy, and there could be two sides created. You know, Duryodhan side, Yudhishthira side, you know. Imagine Mahabharata happening right in the community. Because of what? Envy. So the root of all is envy. And this is what Prabhupada says in the puppet. And we can do this exercise towards the equal relationship and towards the junior relationship. Just respecting the time, we'll have this example only, and Krishna willing Vaishnava moving forward. 1 second. Now it's working, yeah, perfect. So, we started our discussion talking about triangle of fulfillment. The same triangle of fulfillment, when you have envy in your heart, will become the triangle of frustration. Is that making sense here? And what is happening in this triangle of frustration? The problem begins with, we have replaced Krishna with I. And that's what Prabhupada said in that letter. All the faults will become transcendental if the center of everything is Krishna. But all of that becomes material if the center of everything is I. And that's the point. And that envy manifests in what ways? Envy towards senior. That envy towards equal will manifest in the form of pride. I'm better than you. And the same envy towards the junior would manifest in what form? Exploitation. Contempt. No respect. So this is how what we are supposed to take care and experience a happy living, joyful living, can turn into a frustrated life, not because of others' envy. So we got to be careful and conscious about it, and that exists at each level in different ways. I'll just a little bit introduce this topic to all of us. But the most important thing is triangle of fulfillment. We have three needs. We need to understand, take care, and fulfill it. It is my job profile to do that. How to receive shelter? We discuss about it. Humility, etc. Qualities. Similarly, how you want to give shelter to a rightful candidate? We have to become that rightful candidate to receive shelter. Otherwise, there's no point saying that there's nobody in the community to guide or care for me. Similarly, we have to invest in relationship with an equal by serving each other. That's how the loving relationship will develop. And we talked about more very important thing, feeling a self-worth or social contribution by caring for others. By offering guidance to whom we can offer guidance, and therefore preaching mission is there. Evam parampara praptam. This whole line, this knowledge comes in reciprocal succession. So this is kind of a little bit of introduction to this whole topic.